Hi there, welcome. Darla Ledoux here, your host of Shift the Field TV, and I have something special today that I'm sharing. So if you're on my newsletter list, which if you're not, take the quiz below and hop on my newsletter list. But if you're on my list, you know that I'm hosting an event at the end of October with my friend Ron Reich. Now, Ron is an amazing strategist and business coach who has helped so many names that you would know in our industry to find that aligned strategy and just skyrocket. You know, I love magic. I love energetic alignment. And Ron and I are both fanatics that you really need both. You need the energy and you need the strategy, and you need the structure and the flow, the math and the magic. And we come at it from very different angles. So for me, as I've been leaning more into my feminine and allowing more structures to hold me and people to hold me as I lean more into my magic, I'm partnering with Ron on this really cool event. The event is called Divinely Unstoppable Live, and it's happening the end of October in Houston, Texas. And it's divinely unstoppable because when your energy and your strategy are syncing up, you can't not meet your goal. You just can't. And yet, when we're in this human body and we're running a business that's near and dear to our heart, it can be easy for one or the other to go out of alignment. And then we get a result that we don't love. And then we feel some type of way about that result, and those feelings can take us out, right? So Divinely Unstoppable Live is about both getting the energy and strategy aligned and filling up your toolkit with very practical ways to not get taken out by the way you feel about a result, so you can keep your eye on the prize. I'm so excited about this event. You can find out about it at divinelyunstoppable.com. And today's teaching is an excerpt from a call Ron and I did when we were introducing our event just recently. So I think you'll love it. All right, so we're about to dive into our 5-step roadmap.
All right. So step one of the Divinely Unstoppable roadmap, step one to becoming divinely unstoppable, it is number one, forge anti-fragile confidence. Anti-fragile confidence. To understand what it means to be anti-fragile is to juxtapose it with its opposite, which is being fragile. So this is best explained with a metaphor, which is this. So imagine a vase that's inside a box that says fragile on the outside. What happens when you shake that box? What happens? It breaks, right? Then imagine a second box. There's another box with a base inside it. On the outside of this box, it says robust or resilient. So what's going to happen when you shake that box? It doesn't break. It's robust. It's resilient. That's really, really cool. It takes so much pressure and a beating and it doesn't break. And that's cool. But what's even cooler is the box that says anti-fragile on the outside. When you shake this box, the vase actually gets stronger. The idea of being anti-fragile is essentially this, is that the more difficult things get, the harder things get, the more you get metaphorically, maybe literally, kicked around in the game of life and the game of business, the stronger you become. So if we can really, truly embrace this idea of being anti-fragile, this is one of the most important steps of really becoming truly unstoppable. We have other steps, but this is something that, it's one of my favorite topics. I'm so passionate about this because it's actually true. There's many, many good metaphors you can think about, like just a couple of easy ones are the idea of, weights, right? In order to grow muscles, what do you have to do? You actually have to lift weights. It's painful, right? Another thing to think about, you've all heard the phrase, pressure creates diamonds, right? Pressure creates diamonds. Another way to think about this is one of my favorite laws of the universe is the law of polarity. So the idea of the law of polarity, a lot of people don't appreciate this, is that in the universe, everything is always in perfect balance. Everything is always in perfect balance all the time, all day, every day. So for example, there's heaven, hell, darkness, light, good, bad, Darla, Ron, and I tease about the last one, the yin, yang. So that's the thing is that so no matter what happens in your life, even if it's something that's quote unquote bad, that's a struggle, there actually will always be a corresponding positive that does exist because everything is always in perfect balance. So this is where the more we can get into this idea of embracing challenges and using them as fuel for growth, the more powerful we're gonna become. And another thing to consider here is that most of us are familiar with this idea that growth, let me it's that growth is not linear, right? Growth is not linear. You have heard this. You are aware of this, right? What is growth actually? Oh, there you go. If you want to do the spirals, that would be awesome. Yes, growth is this idea of spiraling up, right? And the reason why that is because when you up level, you will then reach a new plateau, a new normal that you've not experienced before. You'll be by definition experiencing things that are uncomfortable, that are new and different. You're going to have to learn new skills. You're going to be in new environments. Thus, and you're not always going to be really great when it comes to being in those new environments. It's not because you're wrong. It's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because you're human. It's just because that's part of the game. I'll give you an example. I have a 4-month-old daughter, which is really, really awesome. Nobody showed me how to become a parent. Like this is totally new, and it's can be quite difficult at times, as all parents can understand. And like the fact that I'm having difficulty as a new dad, and there's some challenges going on, that doesn't mean that anything's wrong with me. The truth of the matter is that having a child, for many reasons, it's a huge up level, right? Does that make sense? Another favorite metaphors is this idea that heroes, they slay dragons. They're not walking over lizards, right? So if you really want to live your best life, make a biggest impact, we need to be taking on bigger and bigger challenges. And speaking of challenges, my favorite equation, write this one down, is this. Everybody here, especially, because you're here, that means by definition, you are a very personal growth oriented person. Most likely you would agree that growing and expanding and reaching your full potential is probably the most important thing in the world. It's definitely one of your highest values. I would imagine growth is one of your values. So the equation that I like to give is that growth equals awesome. Challenges equal growth. Therefore, what? Challenges equal awesome. Challenges are awesome. So again, this is the thing, and I'm being literal about this. What I mean is that when something bad happens, let's say you have a launch that fails. Let's say you lose a lot of money in a business venture. Let's even say, real bad things happen, like the most, bankruptcies, divorce. Really what you're going to find is that you want to basically say, wow, this is awesome. Bring it on. And let's move from there. And the more you really have this idea, this really makes you bulletproof. It really makes you, amongst other things, makes you unstoppable. So let me give you one tool related to this. Darla, how am I doing so far? Anything you want to reflect on?
Oh gosh, so good. So good. I have so many thoughts. First of all, I mapped my revenue once and it looked exactly like this.
For
And
sure.
then I looked at the dips and I went to my calendar and they were moments of extreme challenge
Mm-hmm.
that led to growth or, anti-fragility in your terms. So I'm loving that. And I remember you said, if you think about the worst moment,
Mm-hmm.
you can probably look back on it and really see that it was for the best.
Absolutely. Yeah. For everybody, just if you spend a minute, think about like the worst thing that's happened to you in your life. Most likely, if you look back on that, you'll actually think, oh, wow, that was awesome. So the trick to being anti-fragile is when it happens in the moment is be like, oh, wow, awesome. This is happening. Bring it on. An easy one to start with. I call it the good tool. It comes from by a guy named Jocko. I think it's actually Jacko Willick, Willik, something like that. If you Jocko Willick. So essentially it's this. Whenever anything happens to you that's bad, just say the words good. Just say good. And then give yourself 1, 2, or 3 reasons why that thing is good. Oh, my launch, for example. Oh, my launch just made no sales. Oh, great. That gives me an opportunity to, good. That gives me an opportunity to optimize my marketing message, improve my marketing message, or good. It gives me I can go on vacation instead of spending a month fulfilling my new clients, whatever the reason is. And even like, small things, my I just spilled some orange juice. Okay, great. Gives me an opportunity to practice cleaning my house. Whatever it is. We do this for big things and we do this for smaller things. The idea is that, you're aware of this, turning positives into negatives. The skill, the discipline is training yourself to do this all the time. And the faster you can kind of recover and get back into that positive state, the more powerful you're going to become.